Alright, so in this video, I'm going to share with you every single life lesson that I've learned along the way. And you might start to think like, oh, he's only 17 and things like that. But here's the thing, bro. I've lived a couple of different lives. I've been like very addicted to video games. I've like been kickboxing. I've been threatened multiple times. I have made some money along the way. I'm a dropout. So I've you could say I've lived a lot of different lives in a very short amount of time, and I would agree. And whilst making money, I think I've learned the most important lessons that have made me the way I am today, because I didn't grow up this way. I didn't grow up with the mindset I have today. So yeah, man, there are some things that I can't really speak about on YouTube right now. Some life lessons that I've learned that I literally can't speak about them on YouTube because I don't know, like some are just too controversial, or some I could get like, maybe like the video will get banned or something like that, and I I don't want that. So right now I'm just giving you like like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 15. I think I've got like 15 life lessons for you, and then I'll have like 10 other life lessons in my community that are like a little bit more controversial and things like that, or things that you're not really allowed to speak on YouTube. So let's just start with the first one, and this is the only thing, the only person who is going to change something is you. You need to realize this, because I always thought like, oh, somebody is going to help me out with this or this, or at one point somebody is going to do this or this for me, but it's never true. For example, you've seen people who want to make money, right? If you want to make money, you need to realize nobody is going to make money for you. Nobody, bro. You need to make it yourself. You need to go through all the trials and tribulations and all those kinds of things, and it will be a little bit hard. But in the end, what else are you going to do? Like, literally, what else are you going to do? Like, and this gets me kind of to the second point as well. And this is that you should stop like doing all the high dopamine edits. So you've probably seen like all the self-improvement YouTubers out there and things like that. I'm not going to repeat everything that they're saying, but this is something very valuable that I learned, because I really wanted to make money, right? When I was like, I want to make money at age 13, and I never really made any money or something like that. But at age 14 to 15, I got heavily addicted to video games, like heavily addicted, right? I was like playing 12 hours a day, getting like panic attacks in. Like, I was literally laying in my bed, I would get like crazy panic attacks and shit like that. And do you think I made money in those 2 years? Of course not. Of course I didn't, bro. I made zero money in those 2 years, because all I could think about was playing video games. Like, all I spent my time was playing Fortnite, going to school, playing Fortnite, sleep. Like, that was literally my life. I went to school, I played Fortnite, and I slept. Literally. And then it was like, in the holidays, I would just wake up, eat, play Fortnite, and I would go to sleep again. That was literally it. So yeah, man, I was fucking heavily addicted. And then I tried a little bit of drop shipping and print on demand and those like little side hustles, but the reason I never made money with that is because I was so fucking addicted to video games. And a common belief that I heard a lot is people say like, oh, I only play 1 hour a day, I only play 2 hours a day. it's not going to help you, bro. I literally cut out everything that's not going to help me because I'm so fucking dedicated to making money right now. And I think you should do the same. Because otherwise you're not going to make money. And I wish somebody sat me down one day and told me this. Because it's such an important lesson to actually understand and learn. Alright, so another thing that I see a lot is people think like people think age matters. For some reason people say like, oh, you're only 17, you can make money, or you're only like 17, you don't have a lot of experience or not a lot of knowledge in life or things like that. Bro, I'm here to tell you it's complete bullshit. Like literally. Because I've got friends who made $80,000 with dropshipping. $80,000, bro. It was revenue though, so not complete profit, but still, bro. $80,000, that's fucking insane, right? He was 16 years old. I've got another friend who is 16 years old as well. He's making 10k. I think he made like 10k right now. Yesterday he closed an offer of $3,000. That's fucking insane, right? Age is such a big limiting belief, bro. If you're sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm only like 15 years old, I can make money, then that shows me that your mindset is wrong. Okay, so another thing that I learned is this is a pretty funny one. It's that you gotta learn to think outside the box, right? Because I see a lot of people, they just believe things that a lot of other people are telling them, right? So for example, if the government tells you that reading books are bad, then you don't read books. Just a quick example, right? But how I learned this lesson is I was actually traveling. I'm living in the Netherlands, right? So I was traveling to England with a friend of mine, and we were meeting like 14 different guys, all on self-improvement and things like that. They're all from like different countries. You had Vienna, Austria, Norway, Sweden, England, of course. Like, fucking sick, right? We went there, and there was one biohacker among them as well. And he told me, you can just eat raw eggs. You can eat raw eggs, that's what he told me. And I was like, nah, bro, you can't eat raw eggs. You're fucking kidding me and things like that. And then this other guy, who was like a calisthenics coach, he started to break his eggs and put them in a glass bottle, right? And he just started to mix them up with a spoon or something like that. And he just started to mix things up, and he just drank it like that. And then this other guy, this biohacker, he told me like, yeah, bro, you can do it. And then he showed me. I was like, wow, that's so fucking insane. And then I tried it as well. I drank my first raw egg. I drank my first raw egg, and now I've been doing this. I've been drinking like 3 raw eggs a day for, I think it's like since November, so that's like 2 or 3 months right now. That's sick, right? That's like over 100 raw eggs that I've drunk. And the reason I tell you this is because you need to realize that some things that people are telling you are wrong. There are beliefs in your mind that are wrong, and I still have the same, right? I can't pretend that I'm like, oh, I know everything or something like that. Of course not. But by the way, if you want to try this, don't eat I learned that in the egg shelf there's like salmonella or something like that, not in the egg white as I used to think. It's in the egg shelf. Alright, so don't touch the egg shelf with your lips or something like that. Alright, so the other one is, yeah, man, this is really fucking important. Just beware of your wins. Think about your wins, focus on your wins. Don't focus on them too much or something like that, but you need to be like, you need to realize the journey is actually the most important thing. So when I was starting to make a little bit of money, right, I started to make like 100, 200, 300, $500, something like that. At some point I was like, fuck, is this it? This is what I've been working on for the last couple of years. This is what I've been dedicating all my life to. What I needed to realize, it was not about the actual win. It was not just about the destination. It was not about the money. I always enjoyed the journey. And this is so important. And I wish somebody told me this earlier, because fuck, man, it would have prepared me so much better. But when I started to make money, I started to kind of tell myself like, oh shit, the journey is over now and things like that, because I reached my destination. But this is just the beginning. It's so fucking beautiful, man. Somebody, actually, a client of mine, told me this quote once, and it went something like, the person who enjoys the hike will get so much further than the person who just shoots for the destination. So for example, if you start to think like, oh, I'm only going to walk like 10 kilometers today, and then that's the destination, then I'm home again. That person is going to walk way less than the person who says like, oh, I fucking enjoy these hikes. Let's just walk as far as possible. Yeah, man, I really like those hikes and things like that. The second person is going to walk way faster, and it's the same with business, bro. You need to realize business is a... People always say business is not a sprint, it's a marathon. But I disagree. I would say it's none of those, because there's no end destination in business. There's literally no end destination. The only thing that can block your potential is you. Because everything is possible within the law of the... This is what my mentor Charlie Morgan used to tell me. Everything is possible within the laws of physics and biology. And when I heard about it, I just started to think like, holy shit, that's so fucking true. You can literally become like... I know this sounds like so cliche and so bullshit, but you can literally become anything you want. That's fucking sick, right? Another thing that I learned along the way is you need to take extreme accountability. Like extreme accountability. For example, if it's raining outside and you're cycling to, I don't know, the gym or something like that, right? Don't get angry on the fucking weather, because you're not going to change the weather, right? How are you... What? There's no point in getting angry, if that makes sense. Don't get angry on the weather. I've seen people come to me and they say like, oh, I always scream at the weather and things like that. Like, and I'm like, bro, like, you're not going to change it. If you start to complain about things, it makes you dependent on other things, right? What I want you to do is I want you to take extreme accountability. Why can't you just book a taxi? Why can't you do home workouts? Why don't you have a home gym in your garage? I don't know. Garage, I don't know. But why don't you have a home gym in your house? It's extreme accountability. It's because you haven't made money. Why haven't you made money? It's not that person's fault. It's not like your neighborhood's fault. It's not your friend's fault. It's your own fault, bro. Everything where you are right now is because of you. If you're still addicted to video games, it's not because your friend that keeps telling you like, oh, come and play video games with me. No, why didn't you cut him off? Why don't you cut him off? It's your fault, bro. Everything is your fault. If you come to me and you tell me like, if you sit there and you tell me, oh, life is so hard, I've been doing this and I can't make any new friends who are like dedicated and are making money and things like that, then I want to tell you that's your own fault. Because let me ask you a question. Have you visualized making new friends? No. Have you cut off your bad friends? Your degenerate friends who you were smoking weed with and who you were drinking alcohol with? No. Did you become the person who the people that you want to network with actually look up to? No. So how do you expect to make those friends if you don't take the action required to make those friends, right? You need to realize everything in life it's cause and effect, right? So this is I wish somebody told me this earlier, bro. This really changed my life, right? Then the other thing is I wanted to test out a lot of different things. So I always thought like, oh yeah, the mindset of like waking up at like 6 a.m. or something like that. You get to work immediately, blah blah. And I still believe this is very good, right? But then there was this other side, and they told me like, oh, sleep is so important and things like that, and stop setting an alarm. They told me to stop setting an alarm, right? And I was like, all right, I need to try this because you can't talk about things that you haven't tried before. You can't share lessons if you haven't been out there in the field yourself, right? So I tried this, and my sleep schedule completely fucked up. Like right now, I literally went to bed at like 12 in the night. Like I don't know if it's PM or AM, but let's say 11:30 PM, right? I went to bed really late. And then I woke up at like 10 a.m. or something like that, and I really wanted to work, but of course you also need breakfast and things like that, so I only had 3 hours to work, and everything went just fucked. Everything fucked up, right? So right now I need to get back to the habit of waking up at like 7:30 or something like that, and then maybe I will like slowly make it earlier and earlier. Depends on, of course, on everything, right? So yeah, man, I just want to say like I really want you to test out a lot of different things. It's the same with the egg example, right? If I didn't drunk a raw egg that day, I wouldn't be sitting here and being able to tell you the story about me drinking an egg, if that makes sense. The same way, for example, I made a YouTube video. It's called why you should stop watching YouTube, and the reason I'm able to tell you about that you should stop watching YouTube is just because I've tried it myself. I've tried it with and without it, and then I tried to go like with YouTube again, and now I'm without it again, and I've tried this cycle for multiple times in a row. And that's how I'm able to teach you things, because now I can teach you the differences that I experienced 2 times. If I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have been if I wouldn't stop watching YouTube, then how am I able to explain to you that you should stop watching YouTube if I've not even done it myself, right? So I hope this is common sense, but you need to get the point, right? Let me see what the other one. All right, so another thing is you should stop hoping for a completion in anything in life. There's a book. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. It's a very good book that I'm actually reading. Like I think I've read it like 3 times right now, and I'm planning to read it again, bro, because it's such a good book. I know the title's a little bit weird, but anyways, in the book, David Dida. So David Dida, I think it's like a spiritual coach or something like that, and I don't know. But anyway, he talks about how you should stop hoping for a completion in anything in life. So, for example, as I said with the money example, right? This month I almost made 1K, right? Um, I thought like when I'm finally start making money, I'm going to do this and this and this, and everything is going to be perfect, and this and this, and I'm going to do like, I'm going for more runs outside or something like that, right? Or I'm going to do this and this more, or I'm going to stretch more just when I make money, right? But then I realized now I'm making money and I'm still not doing any of those things because I still want to make more and more money, right? And this is not just out of a greedy example, but it's just because one, I love business, I love making money, I love those things, but I also just love helping the people that I'm actually helping right now. So I want you to realize, if you want to do something ever, start it right now. Start it right now. Because you're not going to do it in the future. I can guarantee you this right now. And this is a very funny lesson that I've learned multiple times. It's like literally been everywhere. It's literally been everywhere. It's been fitness. So as I said, like for example, I told myself like, oh, when I'm going to make like $500, I'm going back to the gym again, or I'm going to work out like 6 times a week or something like that, and I still want to work on my business more. So I'm working out like 5 times. Oh yeah, it's still 5 times a week, but you get the point, right? It's it's so funny, bro, how these things work. And another lesson that I learned is that one thing, oftentimes you can use one thing to everything, if that makes sense. So for example, one principle, you can use one principle to all areas of your life. So for example, if you've read the book Essentialism, you know a little bit about it. Basically the message of the book is that you should cut out everything that's not going to help you or help you enough, right? So for example, responding to your email every day once an hour, sure, it may help you like 1 or 2%, but you can also use those 1 or 2% to work on something that's way more important. So then you should cut out the email and only read it for example 1 hour a week. And this is called essentialism. And essentialism, you can also apply this, for example, to the gym. So your workout, this is what I understand about working out, right? So I'm not like some expert in this field, but basically what you do is your workout is going like this, and then at one point it starts to cap a little bit. So it's in the beginning it's going like very exponential, and then at some point it's not really worth your time anymore, right? And this is where you should use essentialism. So for example, here you can still start working out, but at the moment it's going a little bit more like this. Then maybe you decide here to think like, oh, I'm going to stop working out right now because it's not really worth your time. Sure, you may get like 1, 2, 3% extra benefit, but is it really worth it? Probably not, right? So then you should apply essentialism to everything in life here. And this applies for everything. This applies for your business, your working out, as I said, your what else do you want? Your looks maxing or something like that. Like so it applies for everything, bro. So I really want you to realize this. Another lesson that I learned is, if you want to make money, which you probably want to make money, right? You gotta be fucking committed. Like, I know everybody's talking about, oh, you should be so committed and things like that, bro. Let me actually tell you how deeply committed I was. Because I was literally thinking about bruising my own thumb. So if you don't know, I bruised my thumb with kickboxing. I bruised my thumb and I kind of knew a way to bruise it again, right? And then I was like, oh, then I don't have to go to kickboxing for 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 weeks, and then I can go all in on the business, right? That's how committed I was to making money. That's how fucking bad I wanted to make money. And of course, like right now when I didn't do it, of course, but right now when I'm looking back, by the way, the reason I didn't actually do it in the end is just because I was like, oh fuck, what if I have to go to like some, how do you say it, like some person that's going to fix your thumb, and then I have to go there for like 2 hours a week or something like that for a month, and then I still like, damn, I'm still wasting my time, right? So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do it. But this is how deeply committed I was. Sometimes I just can't even sleep at night just because I'm just thinking about business and making money and all those kinds of things. Sometimes I'm with people and they ask me like, what are you thinking about? Why are you so silent? And I'm just like, I'm thinking about money. I'm thinking about helping people. I'm thinking about changing the lives of other people. And sometimes people think I'm like fucking weird or something like that, but I can change it, bro. I love this. I love doing this. This makes me so happy. I've never been as happy as before as I'm right now. It feels, this is something like a little bit weird, but making money, once you start to make a little bit of money, you feel so fucking free, bro. But it's a whole other point. But another thing that I learned is stop listening to music. So this is something very funny. I was with this coaching client, and he told me like, bro, I can still remember when I stopped listening to music, and I started having like these AirPods in my head, and I stopped listening to music most of the time, and I felt so enlightened. I became so much more present, first of all, but second of all, I just started looking around me, and I saw everybody with AirPods in, like Bluetooth, like all looking down at the ground. And once he realized that, he was like, oh shit, I'm never going back to listening to music again. And he also told me like, and I'm pretty sure it also fucks with your brain, and this is so true, because once you're listening to music, it kind of affects your subconscious mind. So I don't want to go into too much like spiritual bullshit. It's not bullshit, but like I don't want to get like too spiritual in this video, or explain like things that you can explain in 5 minutes, if that makes sense. But basically you have like your own mind, and you have your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is making decisions for you. It's actually, they did a study, and your subconscious mind makes 40% of the decisions you're making. So your subconscious mind makes 40% of the decisions, and you're not even realizing it yet, because it's not your own mind that makes the decisions, if that makes sense. So that's just a brief explanation. But when you're listening to music, when you start listening to music, and people start to rap about, oh, I'm fucking this girl, and oh, look, I'm so good, and then your subconscious mind starts to think like, oh, I also need to do this and this and this, and you will get desires that are inauthentic to you. It's actually funny how this works, but when I used to be in the snack bar, I used to work at a snack bar and things like that, and people always start like, I don't know, it was a little bit of a weird culture there, but people, they started to tell, like, they just started to talk about fapping and those kinds of things, and every time I would be there, people started to think, oh, I can see it, you're relapsed and things like that, like, I was like, what the fuck. But anyways, when I quit that job, like, so when I was working at the job, I still like struggled a lot with nofap and those kinds of things. And when I actually quit that job, 1 month later I quit fapping. It's crazy how this works, right? And I believe this is your subconscious mind. I believe it's because they were talking so much about it that my mind started to think a lot about it. And I get more and more like thoughts about it and things like that, even without like trying to or without realizing it. And I kept relapsing. That's fucking weird, right? So this is also why you should cut out most of your degenerate friends and those kinds of things, but we already spoke. Actually, let me make a separate point here, because you need to fucking cut off all your friends right now. I don't give a fuck about it. I know how fucking bad this was. So if you have like friends that are trying to pull you back, or they're thinking like, oh, you're not bored of this and this, fuck them. Cut them all off right now. Let me sneeze. Alright, I'm back again. Yeah, man. Alright, but anyways, you need to cut them off step by step. I had friends that I was getting threatened, right? Literally, I've been threatened, and my friends saw it. It was literally right in front of their face. And you might start to think like, oh, he's going to say they did nothing. No, bro, he actually did something. But he didn't try to calm them down or something like that. No. He laughed at me. After these people who threatened me with, they had like knives and you know those things you do, like the iron things you do around your knuckles, right? They had those kinds of things, and my friend, they went away, and my friend literally started laughing like, aha, they threatened you, aha. I was like, what the fuck is this? How can you even call yourself a friend, bro? Fuck off. But of course, I didn't have the balls to say that to him. But it was fucking insane, man. But he also like kept giving me, like, as we spoke about, he tried to. I was trying to move up and up and up, right? I told him like, oh bro, I'm going to quit video games, and I'm not going to play video games anymore, and I'm fucking addicted. And I literally told him I got panic attacks from playing video games. And I told him like, oh, I'm going to quit, and like, this is me. I was going up and up. And he told me like, fuck you, bro. Let's just play 1 hour of video games. Let's just play 1 hour, bro. Just for the memories, bro. Bro, the memories. Let's just play 1 hour, bro. Bro, 1 hour of video game. It's no problem. Let's just play one game, bro. Please, one game. Just our last game together, you know? Just for the memories. And I managed to resist this. Not 1 day, not 2 days. I managed to resist this 3 days. And the 4th day, he was in school, and he talked for 30 minutes. He tried to pitch me for 30 minutes to play video games again, and I gave in. And I became addicted again. Just like that, just because my friend started to slow me down. I really wanted to emphasize this point, because everybody knows that you become the sum of the 5 people you spend. You become the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, right? But everybody is still rolling with losers and things like that. What is the fucking point, bro? Why are you still talking to like losers and people who are trying to drag you down and things like that, if you don't want to be like them? And don't make excuses right now. Everything you say, every excuse you're making right now is ego. Okay? Every excuse. Because you need to realize, of course it's going to be lonely and things like that, but you fear being lonely right now, and you gotta admit it. If you're not cutting them off, it's either because they're good friends, because of course you have good friends and things like that. I'm not saying like, oh, every friend is bad, but you need to be honest to yourself. Right now I want you to be honest to yourself. Are they actually good friends? Because they're probably not, right? And if they're not good friends and you don't cut them off, it's because you're scared to cut them off. And I wish somebody told me this. You're fucking scared to cut them off. You're scared for the journey that's ahead of you, but you need to realize, of course you're scared. Of course you have to go through trials and tribulations. Of course you have to go through difficult periods of time to achieve what nobody is able to achieve. And if you make any excuses right now, I want you to say it's fear. And if you don't say it's fear, then your ego is getting in the way of making money, of becoming successful and things like that. So stop running with these losers and just cut them all off, alright? The next thing is, yeah man, enjoy work. But we already talked about this, but I want to tell you how. If you quit every bad habit, if you quit all of it, then you will have something. You need to get your dopamine somewhere, right? You will get this from work. I've literally made a video, I think it was like 1.5 months ago. I made a video, it's called I am Luca and I just became an addict again. I literally became addicted to my work, and I had to slow down my work because I was working like 12 hours a day, and I became just addicted to it, alright? So the next step is something that I see a lot of people still do, and not a lot of people talk about this. And people always start to ask me like, Luca, why are you so calm? And Luca, why don't you stress so much? And the reason for this is very simple. It's because I think to myself, if it doesn't affect my deathbed, then who am I to stress about it? Okay, I'm in the rain right now. I'm walking in the rain outside right now. And it's cold, I'm freezing and all those kinds of things. Do you think I'm going to be there at my deathbed thinking like, oh man, I wish that one single day when I was walking outside in the rain didn't happen? Of course not, bro. Of course not. So why would I stress about it right now? If it doesn't affect your deathbed, don't stress about it. Don't even think about it. If let's say your book, you bought a new book the other day and it fell in the water, right? You think I'm going to stress about that when I'm laying there in my deathbed? Of course not. So why would I stress about it now? Why would I invade my own mind with negative thoughts right now? If in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't fucking matter. And this is a mindset that I really want you to adopt, because together with the self-accountability mindset that we already spoke about, it's everything will become so fucking chill. You just start to slow down with everything. I need to sneeze again. Shit, alright. What was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah, bro. Okay, I apologize. But anyways, what I was saying is, oh yeah, together with you start to slow down. If you take full accountability for everything you do, and you start to think like, oh, alright, if this doesn't affect my deathbed, why would I think about it now? You will start to get so much less emotional. So much less emotional, bro. And when something bad happens, people always start like complaining and things like that, and oh, I'm a victim. You start to think like, oh, how could I have changed this? Instead of blaming the problem, you start to find a solution, and this is so fucking key, bro. Also, what really helped me, and this is a lesson that I really want to, or a habit that I really want you to adopt for the rest of your life, because you know you may start to think like, oh, meditation, it's like only like you've seen it, the self-improvement videos and things like that. You may think it's still weird, you may not, but I actually want to tell you that meditation saved me a knockout. Meditation saved me a knockout. Because you already know I got threatened once, but I actually got threatened twice. And the second time was at my sales job, right? And I was at my sales job, I was just walking, I was just doing my normal pitch as usual. And then this guy, he came to me and he stepped in front of me and he started screaming at me for no fucking reason, and he thought I was trying to scam him or something like that, or I was trying to take advantage of like the people in worse countries so I could make more money or something like that. But anyways, he started to walk towards me. He told me like, oh, I'm going to smash your face, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kick you, I'm going to do this and this, and I'm going to make sure you will never walk again or something like that. And I had this card around, or I had this card in my hand, right, from the charity that I was walking for. So I had this card in my hand and he grabbed it and he just took it. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And even my how do you say it? Passport? Yeah, your passport. I had a passport card, like just a little card. And he grabbed that one as well. So now he had two things of mine. And I started to think like, okay, what's a good solution here? Because again, you shouldn't think about, oh, what's the problem, this, that. I started to think about solutions, right? So I started to think, okay, what's a good solution here? What is the best way to go about this right now? I started to think like, okay, I've still got my phone, and this is whilst he was standing beside me, right? So I also had to watch out that he wasn't suddenly going to kick me or something like that. But I still had my phone, so I could still call the police if I needed. So I just did 2 steps back. I just stood there, and I was like, all right, if he's going back into his house right now, I'm fine. I will just call the police and I will get my cards back, right? So I was like, okay, let me just take 2 steps back. And he stepped 1 step towards me, right? And I was like, okay, he's going to kick me or going to smash my face right now. So I need to take 1 step back. And if he then takes 1 step towards me, I'm punching him. It doesn't matter what, I'm fucking punching him. He just kept standing there. And he was like, alright. He was thinking about calling the police or not. So I was like, alright, just call the police and we're done, right? But I was still scared. I was still shitting my fucking pants. But you couldn't notice it in my voice, or you couldn't notice it in my body language, or not as much as when I wouldn't meditate. Because you might not realize this, and it might sound a little bit weird, but if I would actually not have meditated for the past year, then I would probably panic more. I would start to think like, oh, he's going to kill me, blah blah. And right now I was way more tranquilo. I was way more relaxed, and this is I think this is my personality as well. I'm not. You've probably noticed I'm not really screaming at you or something like that. I'm more just. I see myself more as a relaxer and a chiller person. I'm not really. I don't really care about screaming and things like that. And I think if I would not have meditated as much as I used to, as much as I had before that day, then I think we would be in a fight. And he was like 40 years old. He was 3 times older than I was. Meditation saved me a fight, bro. I can tell you this right now. And I was also just more relaxed because I was doing kickboxing as well at the time, right? So I was only kickboxing for 2 3 months or something like that, so I wasn't really good or something like that, but I was still confident that I could beat the fuck out of him, right? But then I would have to go to like prison and the police and the bureau and those kinds of things, and it would be like so much difficulties for no reason. So my boss actually told me after that, like, yo, you need to call the police and things like that, and I was like, nah, bro, I don't want to call the police, bro. I just want to go. I just went. I talked a little bit to the guy that I was walking with about the situation, and like 5 minutes after that, I was walking again. I was on the streets again, and I was selling to people again. You can't affect my mind. I'm unbreakable. Even when I was telling my parents to drop out, right? My parents were like fully against it. Of course, like they don't know about any other way, right? But they were fully against it and fully against me dropping out. And my mother even started like crying her eyes out, right? She was like, "Oh, what, you're going to quit? You're going to quit school and those kinds of things." And she literally started crying so much. And to be honest, bro, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like my heart, it felt like there were like 1,000 knives at the same time in my heart. I could literally feel it, bro. It fucking hurt, right? But I went upstairs, and all I started to think was, okay, what's right now the best way to move further? You see, again, I wasn't thinking like, oh fuck, I wish he didn't cry, or I wish this didn't happen, or I wish I could just quit school that very easily, or things like that. No, bro. I was like, okay, this happened, I can't change it anymore. What's the next solution that I can find for this? So I started to go all in, right? I started to think like, fuck it. I deleted everything there. So I already had deleted like TikTok, Instagram, those kinds of things, but I was still on Snapchat. I was like, fuck it, I'm deleting Snapchat as well. Everybody started to send me or some people started to message me like, why are you deleting Snapchat and things like that. And I didn't even respond. I didn't give a fuck. Because I was going all in, bro. I was going bam, bam, bam. This kept me cool again. Of course, it still fucking hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. It still fucking hurt, right? But I wasn't getting angry, or I didn't start like crying or something like that, because I'm a chess player, right? I just looked at what was the best move on the board. Was it to start crying? No. Was it to start getting angry? No. So why would I? If that makes sense. The best solution was cutting everything off and going all in. And I did, and I made money. It was funny. Yesterday I told my dad, like, Dad, I made $950 this month, and it's only January 22nd. 22nd, yes. And my clients literally are referring my product from me, and they start to try to convince other people to buy my product because it's so fucking good. And I told him, like, I'm going to make 1K this month. And he was like, oh. I don't know, I was fucking happy about it. It was just a milestone, right? So, anyways. Another thing. So I was still in another call with a client of mine, right? And he also is like he's my friend as well. He was a fucking chill guy, right? But we were talking, and he told me like, okay, but if something ever goes wrong, or if I won't make it, and then he started to correct himself already. He started to say, which won't happen, because I will make it. Like, you see these people, you see these quotes a lot, right? these Instagram quotes who say like, "Oh, I'll never give up, and I will. It's impossible for me to fail, and you just believe in it, bro, and you will make it." And I think he started to kind of correct himself, and I see a lot of people who do this. They say like, "Oh, if I won't make it," and then they say, "Which won't happen?" But then I asked him a question that really changed his paradigm. I asked him, "What could happen that will make you to not make it, if that makes sense? What would happen for you to not make it?" And it was silent for like 30 seconds, and he just started to think like, how could I not make it? What could happen? And I told him the answer. And the answer is, if you don't quit, you will always make it. Again, bro, I talked about this already. Business is a run without an end destination. Business is a run without an end destination. So if you just keep walking, you keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Some point here, you might start to think like, I give up. This is the only way. If you stop here, this is the only way that you won't be able to make it. If you just keep walking, you will make it eventually. You will make it eventually. That's a key fact, bro. And I really want you to think about this and realize this, because this mindset changed my life. If you don't quit, you will make it eventually. And there are a lot of times when you will start to want to quit, when you start to think like, oh man, I wish I would just go for the normal route or something like that. But here's the thing. You want to become successful, don't you? You need to realize you will have to make sacrifices. A sentence that I actually would repeat to myself a lot of different times when things would get hard is, 99% of people would quit here. This will put me in the 1%, because if I'm going to push through it, it will put me in the top 1%. And to be honest, bro, how many 17-year-olds are making 1K a month? Not a lot, right? I'm in the top 1% of my age. I have no doubt about that. But people don't see the sacrifices. I've sacrificed more than 99% of people. I can guarantee you that right now. I've taken more risk. I've worked harder than 99% of people. But people only see like the end result, right? And I want you to think. I want you to adopt this mindset that it's going to be so fucking hard. It's going to be so fucking difficult. You gotta sacrifice so much. You're going to take so many risks. But in the end, it's worth it. And talking about risk, by the way, bro, I don't know. My eye is... I don't know what's happening to my eye, but... Anyways. Talking about risks. You need to take a lot of them. And this is a mindset that I got from the YouTuber First, man. He said like, okay, if you're taking a risk, right? You want to get here. That's the thing with a risk. You want to take the risk. And the best thing that could happen is that you could get here, right? But the worst thing, what's the worst thing that could happen? Is that you get here again. Is that you just become like an average guy again. You would just become like everybody else again. But the best thing that could happen is that you might start to get like into top 1% of things like that. And the worst thing that could happen is you don't take the, or if you don't take the risk, you will be lower again, because you will have a lot of doubt. Sorry, not doubt. You will have, how do you call it? You will regret it. You will regret not taking a risk. You really want to take a lot of risk. So, for example, I've invested a lot of money, right? Like, actually a fuck ton of money. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think I started the, like, 2023 with $6,000 or euros, so that's like $7,000 on my bank account, right? Maybe even 8,000. I'm not really sure, but something like that. I ended 2023. I ended 2023 with $200 on my bank account or something like that, and I was literally, without even realizing it, in debt to my own father. I was in debt, bro. I already made my money and things like that, but I was still in debt because I invested so much money. I've literally made investments that were 1.6k a month. I've invested like 1,000. I think it's like 1.1k in another program. I've invested like a couple of hundreds in different programs and things like that. But my business, because of those investments, my business started to skyrocket, and I can teach people what I learned right now as well. So in the end, it's worth it, because if I wouldn't have done this, who knows where I would be right now? I would probably not make money. So with the risk, I took a risk, and I actually became very low, right? But now I'm like up here again. Like the risk for me, it paid off. And this is a lot of times with risks. The more you invest, the more you will be dedicated as well. So yeah, man, risks. A lot of people see them as bad or something like that. I want to view risks as good things to have. Because what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is probably that you end up average again. Oh, big fuck up. You were average anyways. Do you get what I mean? Like you need to take risks to get like where you want to be, top 1%, top 10%, blah blah. But you need to. By the way, I don't really like saying like top 1%, 10%, but it's just to illustrate the point, right? But you need to realize if you take a risk, you will become like higher. You'll become like a better person. That's the best case scenario. But the worst case scenario is that you will just be like everybody else. But here's the thing, you already started like everybody else before you took the risk. So there's nothing that could happen, if this makes sense. I really hope you get the point. Because this really changed the way I look at risks and things like that. But the other thing is, this is a lesson that I learned. By the way, bro, just a quick plug. If you want to learn like 10, 20 more of these lessons, then I've got a free school community that you can check out. And I will be sharing like the lessons that I can really share on YouTube with you there, right? But anyways, another lesson that I learned is that you only own 3 things in your life. You only own 3 things, bro. Because you don't own your own house. You don't own your own books that you buy. You don't own the pencils that you have laying around. You don't own any of that. You don't even own your own body, bro. People can chop off your ear right now and you can't get it back, if that makes sense. People can invade your country right now and you have to get out of the house. You don't own your own house, bro. People, the government can just say like, oh, you have to get out of your own house or something like that, and you have nothing to say, bro. You might think you do, but that's an ego problem. You don't own the money you have on your bank account. Look at I think it was 2007, right? Big bank failures and things like that. People like hyperinflation, everything went down. Like, you don't own money. Money is not a real thing. Money is just, imagine, let me grab something. Imagine I give you this, right? How much would you be paying to me? Probably like not even a cent, right? You wouldn't even give me $1 for just a random piece of paper like this. But if I would write down like $100 on it, I would make it like the color of money, and like I would make it look like a money billiard, right? And I would say $100 on it. It could be that you would pay me like, that you think it's worth $100, and it is worth $100. A $100 bill is worth $100, but it's just a piece of paper. It's nothing else. Even in my bank account, I don't see. I see money as numbers on a screen, if that makes sense. I don't own it. I don't own the money that I have right now. I don't even own my own body. They could chop off my fingers, bro. And I can't repair it back. So there's only 3 things you truly, truly own in your own life. And these 3 things are your mindset. So the thing we're talking about right now. Your knowledge. So these 2 tie together a little bit, your mindset and your knowledge, right? These 2 things are the things that you're learning right now, your mindset and knowledge. And the 3rd thing that you own is your own soul. You can't take away somebody's soul. I'm investing in these 2 things because you can't really invest in your soul. As far as I'm concerned, right? But the reason I tell you this is because to feed your soul, you need to tell the truth every single time. You can't lie to people. This is what when I was in debt, when I realized I was in debt, I told it to my own community. I was like, bro, boys, I'm still in debt. I'm not even going to lie to you. And I just started to tell them ways that they would make money and become my competitors and things like that. And I started to tell them like, oh, this is a good opportunity to do, but if you do it, I would also make money. And then later I told them like, for some people, I really believed it was a very fucking good wait, I gotta sneeze. Shit, this is the 3rd time of this video already. Shit. But anyways, what did I want to say? Oh yeah, so your soul. You need to be honest, bro, about everything. Nobody, right now, I'm being honest about everything. Nobody can catch me off guard. If I would be sitting here and saying like, oh, I'm making 10k a month or some things like that, and or I'm making like 100k a month or bullshit like that, right? Maybe people start to ask me for like, okay, you show me your Stripe account or something like that, and I would say like, oh, wow, I can't really show you that, and it would just, people would be able to catch you off guard, right? So when I was doing my sales job, for example, I didn't really like lying to people because, for example, people would say like, oh, I've got a girl in my class from Ukraine, because we were walking for Ukraine, for example, right? And I would say like, oh, I've got a girl in my classroom for Ukraine, and that's why I'm walking here to help her family out. Sorry, to help her family out and things like that. And to be honest, I've tried it, unfortunately, but it just lying, it just makes your soul it's not good for your soul. Let's put it that way. But the second way, the second thing is that people will be able to catch you off guard. So people would be, some people will be asking questions like, "Oh, what school is she in? Like, what degree is she doing? And those kinds of things. And what's her name?" And you need to be prepared for all of them. But sometimes you'll be able to be catched off guard, right? Caught off guard. And this is what I was kind of like scared for as well. That when I was walking, that people would say like, "Oh." People would just be able to start ask a lot of questions and that I wouldn't be able to answer. But when you're just telling the truth, bro, nobody can catch me off guard right now because I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I'm still like I'm not anymore, but I was still in debt to my father, or at least I'm still in debt, but I'm able to pay him now, if that makes sense. But I was in debt to my father. I told everybody in my community about it. At least I'm trying to never ever lie to people, right? Of course, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I still lie sometimes and things like that. But you don't want to lie too much, if that makes sense. You don't. This is an amazing way to live, to be honest. I can't remember the last time I actually lied to somebody. That's how long it was ago. And it's an amazing way to live, bro. It sets you free. I feel happy right now. Nobody can catch me off guard. Everything is my own fault. Like, how can I not be relaxed, right? So yeah, man, you should also invest in your knowledge, because as I said, like, you only have these three things, right? You've got your knowledge, you've got your soul, you've got your mindset. I'm fully investing into my knowledge and my mindset. Fully investing in it. Because this is what is going to skyrocket my business. This is what's going to be. It will be so much more worth it in the end. I think those were it right now. These were the, I don't know how many, I think I made it like 20 or something like that. These were the 20 life lessons that I actually learned, or maybe 21 or 15. I have no idea, I didn't count them, but these were the life lessons that I learned. And if you like these life lessons, again, I know I've plugged it already, but I've got a free school community. We all people in self-improvement, all trying to make money, all like coaches as well. I've got a free community with a free course in there, and I'm going to post the lessons that I can't really teach on YouTube in there as well. And yeah, man, that was it. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was a little bit of a long video, but if you actually managed to stick 1 hour and 8 minutes to this video, I want to say I fucking respect you. Alright? Thanks for watching, and peace the fuck out. I don't know what I'm doing. Shit.